What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sector for Nerds. I'm Ryan Brower, and today I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on Star Wars The Bad Batch Episode 12, Infested. But first up, you guys, the Milwaukee Bucks are the freaking champions of the world. First time winning a championship after 50 years. You love to see it. As someone who's from Wisconsin and lived in Wisconsin for most of his life, it's so cool to see these guys win a title. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but you know, like, to be able to see them win a championship is pretty cool. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there is to show a bit of excitement on my part, because I think I'm a little more excited for that than the Bad Batch episode that we're about to talk about. But before we do that, you guys, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video around as it really helps support the channel. If this is your first time watching, I like to do a lot of reaction videos to fan-made Star Wars content, whether it be fan films or tribute videos, and then I also like to do a lot of discussion videos, you guys, like we're doing here today with episodes of the Bad Batch. We just got done doing it with Loki, and we've done it with so many other shows when it comes to Star Wars and Marvel on Disney Plus, and we're going to be doing it for all the future Star Wars and Marvel shows on Disney Plus as well. So make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. A lot of great content here on my channel. Okay, so Bad Batch this week, you guys. Okay, so for those of you guys who have been watching my videos like on a consistent basis, you guys know that up and down, throughout every video, I have been praising this show to the moon. If you guys watch any of my videos, you will hear me say at some point how much I freaking love the Bad Batch. This was the first episode in the show where I kind of went, not really sure if I'm a fan of this one. I wasn't necessarily intrigued by the story. I'm still not necessarily invested in Sid, and I think that might be another problem as well, as I know this was more of like an episode about Sid. So once again, the Bad Batch are on Ord Mantell, and of course I figured, okay, well, they're probably here to see Sid. And then I started thinking to myself as well, though, but I'm like, but wait, why are they still working for Sid? I thought like the debt was paid. Like maybe Sid still owes them money, because that was kind of something that Wrecker was kind of joking about at the end of the episode, so maybe that's why they stick around. They were talking about a mission with Gundarks, and we hadn't seen anything with that, so clearly there's been a bit of a time jump since we last saw the Bad Batch, which you kind of figure when it comes to this show. I'm sure there's bits of time jumps in between episodes, so clearly there was here. We get to meet Roland, who's the person who I guess has now taken over Ord Mantell, or at least Sid's like bar, and he's teamed up with the Pykes. Bad Batch get there, and then they're just like, yeah, we're out of here. So then, but Omega's like, no, but we gotta help Sid, and Sid's on their ship just sitting there like, at least one of you guys cares. They come up with this like long elaborate plan to get the spice, where they have to like travel through the sewers and not just on foot and like, you know, run through the base and kill them all. So I don't know, like at this point I was writing in my notes too, I just said like, this episode I'm really not a fan of what's going on. Sid's usual customers, one was a Weequay, one was an Ithorian, and they both help them out by taking the pet, but then that ends up backfiring and they end up getting captured. Bad Batch end up stealing the spice, but then they end up getting caught by the Hive, and then they're able to escape but without the spice. So then they go back, and the Pykes are obviously pissed off. I was curious about why they went back to Sid's bar, but then I'm like, okay, maybe they assumed that the Pykes were gone, but no, they weren't. So that made them even more pissed off, and they're like, hey, we want the spice, and he's like, you guys got to go back and get it, because Hunter said, hey, we know where the spice is, we can get it. And then the Pykes are like, okay, you guys go get it, but you leave the kid here. And the thing that I loved about this, though, this was like the one moment of this episode that I really enjoyed, it was a nice touch, honestly, was when they said, like, we want the kid, all of the Bad Batch members immediately got out their blasters. They're like, yeah, no, that's not happening. And I'm like, good job, guys, way to defend Omega. They're defending their little sister, or in, you know, Hunter's case, he's defending his daughter, or Wrecker, his niece, you know. I mean, I know at the end of the day, they're all brothers and sisters here, but at the end of the day, Hunter is very much like the father, Wrecker like an uncle. You guys already know how it works. But at the end of the day, my point is, I love that they're, you know, always willing to defend Omega. And, you know, it's like Hunter said a couple episodes ago, you know, they can send everyone in the galaxy they want. You have us. Sid's able to convince them to not go up against the Pykes, which is probably a smart move because then they'll be hunted by the Pykes as well, and it's just like, yeah, we don't want that happening. And it does seem like Sid cares about Omega because she was adamant once they had gotten back to the ship that they were going to get the spice and they were going to find a way to get her back. Apart from the fact that Wrecker is strong, I don't think it was a good idea to send him down with Sid to get the spice. Again, I get it, he's the strongest one, he's probably the best guy you want down there, but he's also scared of heights, and he ends up messing up by drop it. I think he ends up running into the speeder, right? Or whatever that they left in there before, and then that's what causes the hive to wake up again and go after them. But Tech coming in clutch in this episode. Tech's actually come in clutch a bunch of times too, so I'll give him a proper shout out to Tech. I feel like we don't give enough praise to Tech here on the channel, but yeah, Tech definitely came in clutch here, sending like this giant like flash grenade that he just threw into the tunnel, and the hive just went flying, so then the Bad Batch were able to get the spice and get out. They give it back to the Pykes. They're like, yep, here you go, guys, we want Omega back now, and the Pykes are like, yep, we'll give you Omega back. And then he's like, but your deal's not done, Roland. And then they end up chopping off one of his horns. Like, I thought they were gonna kill him in front of Omega, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that. And then, it was only a horn, so I'm like, okay, you know what, at least this guy is able to get away with his life. So there's that. At the end of the episode, Hunter asks Omega, why did you stick up for this guy, even after what he did? And he's like, I don't know, the pets seem to like him, so maybe he's not all that bad. And I forget the name of the pet too, so I apologize. I feel like this episode is the closest episode we've gotten to filler. I don't know if it's necessarily, the right time to be throwing that word around yet, because, I mean, so many people have been saying, like, the past few episodes, like, oh, it's filler, oh, it's this. I don't understand how any of the past few episodes have been filler, considering the amount of development that's gone down between the Bad Batch and Omega, and the stories that we had with Ryloth and all that. Like, I don't see how any of that is filler, especially the fact that we got Hera from Star Wars Rebels as well. Anyway, so I digress. But this episode, you guys, this was very much an episode that I felt like if there was development for anybody in this episode, it kind of developed Sid more than anybody. Like I said, this is the closest we've gotten to filler. I don't think I can necessarily call it filler, but like it went right up to the edge. Like, let's just say in this terminology that falling off of a cliff is filler, then this episode went right up to the edge of the cliff. Maybe it didn't fall, but it was very close to falling. And I tell you what, guys, though, either way, this episode didn't really intrigue me that much. I wasn't really invested in the story that was going on. I kind of thought that the direction they were gonna go was something with Crosshair, because they just got done in the last episode having Crosshair say permission to hunt them down, and then I was like, okay, so Crosshair's now going after them, but it appears that that's not going to be happening just yet. It'll probably happen within like the final 2 episodes, I'm assuming, so, or maybe even next week as well, but I don't know. Yeah, wasn't a big fan of the episode this week, you guys. You guys will have to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you guys like this episode? Did you guys not like it? Let me know. Something that I did kind of think about when it comes to this episode, and I do believe at this point that there probably will be a season 2, but I feel like when you think about it, if you're gonna put in some more development for Sid and start, getting her more involved with the Bad Batch, like surely that's got to be setting up something with season 2 and for her to be more involved, which, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be that big of a fan of, because like I said, right now I don't like the character of Sid, but I mean, you know what, maybe that'll change over time. Maybe over season 2, if they do one, she'll grow on me a bit more. And I'm actually glad that they haven't announced a season 2 yet, because it could set up for some dark stuff to happen in the finale. Like maybe it'll look like someone's gonna die, or maybe someone will die. Like, I don't know, and maybe that'll put a season 2 in question. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking there probably will be a season 2. Yeah, you guys, I really don't think I have that much else to say about this episode. Like I said, nothing really stood out to me much. It was as close to filler as filler can be. And like I said, I don't like using the word filler because people just throw that word around too much these days, and especially in this show as well, when I don't think there has been a single filler episode in this show. And like I said, if there was, this would be the closest thing to it. But whatever, it is what it is, I guess. That's gonna wrap us up this week, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video around as it really helps support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.
Stop! R2, we need to be going up.